Hi, and welcome to the Modern Persian Food Podcast. We are food bloggers,
Bita or Avian,
and Bita Nazim Kelly, and we're here to share with you the rich flavors and fresh ingredients of Persian cooking and how to incorporate them into today's modern lifestyles.
We're excited to introduce you to the flavors, tastes, and techniques we use, and also our own cultural stories and perspectives growing up in the U.S. in a Persian family. Thank you for joining us. Here we are. Hello. Welcome to episode 13. Today, we're doing something a little bit differently. We're doing a deep dive, getting personal, a little coffee date with my lovely co-host, Bita. Hi, Bita June.
Hi, Bita June. I'm excited for this episode.
Yeah, so I enjoy just talking endlessly about food with you.
Me too.
But being the end of the year, it feels like a good time to sort of reflect on how far we've come, what we've accomplished so far, and a little bit on a vision of what we see coming ahead with the podcast.
Yes, sounds great.
Yeah, so do you remember how we met?
Yeah, good old Instagram is how we first met, started following each other a long time ago, a while ago. And, we both have Persian content and recipes, and you have a lot of healthy recipes. And I think we were just very like-minded in the type of approach that we took when it came to food. So we started following each other, liking each other's posts, until we started having some conversations, and you had the great idea of launching a podcast.
I was so excited to find you, but even before that, I loved your handle. I don't know if I ever shared this with you, but I was like, Beats Eats, that's such a great handle. I want to be Beats Eats.
Yay,
She's a food blogger, and she has my same name. I was kind of obsessed with the whole, we have the same name, and we're both food bloggers, and we only live really nearby each other, we have to collaborate.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember going to your website after starting to follow you, and I'm like, oh my God, she has all these great recipes on here. And I saw that you were doing all these cool things, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to do that. Hey, how come I didn't think of that first? So it was awesome to be able to collaborate with you. And when you came up with the idea of the podcast, actually, we were in the thick of pandemic time.
Mm-hmm.
We had already gone into shelter in place when you approached me with that. And even though that it was such a crazy time, it is such a good idea that I couldn't resist and I couldn't say no. And we embarked on this journey to start the podcast, Modern Persian Food.
In my mind, I had this idea, I have been for years wanting to find a partner, because food blogging to me can be lonely. Mm-hmm. You do it alone. You're food blogging, you're cooking, you're writing recipes, you're testing them, you're taking pictures of your food. And I love it. I love creating content, but I also always wanted to share that with someone. And so I personally love listening to podcasts. I like listening to podcasts when I'm walking and doing chores. And I have my favorite ones. And I just sort of put two and two together. And I thought, wouldn't it be amazing to take it a step further and have a partnership? And, I think in your tagline, you say that a girl desperately addicted to Persian food.
Oh, yeah. Persian girl desperately addicted to food, which I sure am.
And then the other thing, besides having the same name, we both are Bita, spelled differently, but pronounced the same, is that we both have the same philosophy on Persian food with a modern twist.
Yes.
But what took me for a surprise was that when I asked you, we talked on the phone after connecting on Instagram, and I said, would you want to do a partnership with me and start a podcast? And you said, yes.
Yeah.
And it's just been kind of like a match made in heaven, because I just find you to be such a wonderful person to work with, equally passionate in what we're talking about, but then also equally a really hard worker, which I so appreciate.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love working with you as well. It's great to be partners with someone who actually holds up her side of work and standpoint. And I think that we motivate each other to come up with great content and to do the best that we can do, even though that we have other things going on in our lives. So it's been really great partnering with you, and you make me do my job better. So that's a fun experience.
I feel the same way. In our initial conversations, one of the things came up was, okay, well, so who's our audience going to be? Mm-hmm. We're in very different stages of life.
Right.
So I'm in the stage of life that my girls, they're older.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. My baby's going to be 18, a senior in high school. Mm-hmm. And then our firstborn, we have two daughters. She's a junior in college and she's 20. So I have a lot of time to work and create, and I'm at a different stage. Whereas Bita, you have your hands quite full.
Yeah, my hands are definitely quite full, especially again during quarantine. I have two younger children. My youngest one is 3 years old, and my older one is 6 years old. So it's been a little bit challenging because they are not in formal outside of the house school right now. My daughter's school is all on Zoom. And so I'm kind of taking a role of homeschooling and then trying to be a preschool teacher and trying to like run the house and work on my side projects and work on my own blog and work on the podcast. So it's definitely a juggle trying to just manage everything. But I come from like a marketing and media background and in advertising. So it's been great to kind of utilize those skills in a different way. And since we decided to have the podcast, we didn't just jump into it blindly. We wanted to set ourselves up for success. We started it out by making a marketing plan, doing research, getting insights from potential listeners, doing surveys. And there was like so many things that we didn't even consider. Like, you know, you have to have like a hosting platform. You have to hire people. You have logos. We work with a great team and we work with a great editor who helps us convey the message in a really clear way so that we can communicate what we're trying to say to our listeners and make sure that it's interesting for people to listen to. It's definitely been a lot of work, but I think that now that we've reached 13 episodes, it's quite exciting. There's been really great feedback from the community and from our listeners and a lot of great support, and people seem to be loving it. It's been great to kind of be on this journey.
I'd love to hear what are some of your favorite parts of being a food blogger and some of your favorite parts of being now a podcaster. I think that what success means for me is I absolutely love it when I hear or see that someone has made something, one of my recipes, or that I hear that I have inspired someone to try something. It just makes me so excited and happy. And it's that simple.
I love that too. You know, I'll get pictures and messages from friends and people that I know saying like, hey, we tried out that recipe, or this is what I made based on inspiration from what I heard from you guys on the podcast. That is actually very rewarding to see those images and that feedback from people that we know. They're out there, they're trying it, they're trying new things, or, you know, Persian recipes can be pretty intimidating. So I'm proud of people when they show us that they actually tried it and they're trying something new or a little bit differently.
Yeah, and I get inspired by our conversations. Absolutely. I have definitely made things and done things that I otherwise wouldn't have. And there have been connections as a result of this. But yeah, I'm also curious about your why. Like, yeah, we have different lives. You know, I was a school teacher and then became a family nutritionist. You were in marketing and you worked for some great companies. But like, why do you have this passion and need for what you're doing now?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I just really want to make Persian food and cooking accessible to everyone. It doesn't have to be so complicated. You can make things that are delicious and comforting and share them with your family or enjoy them by yourself, whatever you want to do. You can do that. I think people lack self-confidence sometimes when it comes to cooking things. And it's like, okay, is my onion diced properly? And am I going to like mess up my whole recipe if I just use like a little bit too much turmeric or something like that? It doesn't have to be that hard. I think that what I want to convey to people who listen to us and people who read my blog and see my posts is that you can do it. You don't have to be afraid. Just try. And you're going to be proud of yourself from what you're able to make and create and taste. And then you can share that with other people too. You know, I'm not a person who is like so specific. Like, so maybe I'm not going to be the best baker because I'm not so exact, but I just kind of let intuition lead the way sometimes. And I think that that's actually not just an approach I take when it comes to my work, but in life. I know that the path that I go on will lead me to where I need to go. And I feel like I kind of take that same type of approach when I'm cooking, let it happen. And if it doesn't work out, then I learn from my mistakes and I'll try again the next time.
You know, I think we talked about it in our first episode. Wouldn't it be amazing for Persian food to be part of the regular rotation for people? Like you have your Taco Tuesday and you have an Italian night and Chinese, and then you have Persian food on Fridays, maybe. So, you know, to kind of leave a mark and for our kids to have that, right? Yeah. So the grandma's soup recipe, the asher ashte, it's going to be there. They're going to be able to find it, you know, and carry it on, but beyond our families.
Yeah, that's great.
I've had people be surprised that learned that you're in San Francisco and I'm in the Bay Area and we're in our own homes.
Yeah.
But we have met in person once, which I have fond memories of. I came up and we had a really fun time in the Golden Gate Park.
Yeah.
Last spring, early summer, was it?
Yeah, early summer. We walked around all of the park and saw all the sites and the Conservatory of Flowers and the Academy of Sciences. And
it was really fun. And we took some goofy pictures with our masks and without our masks. Yeah. And the thing is, I feel like I've known you for years.
Yeah.
I think because we talk every single week.
Yeah. And we exchange a bunch of emails every week and things like that too.
Yeah. And we've hit a lot of milestones. We really have. And fortunately, we've hit a lot of milestones. And unfortunately, that we keep trying to celebrate them. But this freaking pandemic.
I know. We were going to have a launch party, which didn't happen in person. And then we were going to do a celebration dinner. But that's okay. There'll be plenty of time for us to celebrate. I think that one of the biggest milestones that I was really excited about is when we hit 10 episodes.
Yeah.
We were official. We were 10 episodes out. That was great.
Yes. We're going to have a big party when this is all over.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if we want to look forward to what's coming up, we like the idea of having manageable size episodes, less than 20 minutes so that you can listen to a full episode, listen to a whole topic that what we talk about. And as a listener, we'd love to get your feedback if you like that, if you don't like that, if you want longer, if you want even shorter, or there's certain topics, that's why we have the Ask the Beat section, is so that we can get feedback from our listeners.
That's right. And we have an email dedicated to y'all. So if you want to provide us with any feedback, for example, like Bita June said, if you prefer short, digestible episodes, give me 10 minutes. I just want 10 minutes. Let us know. And that email is hello@modernpersianfood.com. You can just say hello. You can ask us a question, give us feedback, and we love to hear from you. So the future is bright. I have hope for the future.
Yes.
We have already come up with our more or less plan. We have a lot of things that we want to talk about. In addition to that, we've played with the idea of potentially bringing in some special guests.
And maybe doing some interviews with some other Persian writers, food bloggers, cookbook authors, and other people who are in the Persian community. So hopefully we can see that coming up next year. And also really deep diving into some of the more popular or some of the foods or dishes that we really love, and that we can maybe have certain episodes that just focus on one dish so that we can really get into the intricacies of why we love it so much and how to make it in a way that you can include it in your weekly meal plan that is accessible and manageable so that you can actually pull it off like during the week. What areas to really focus on in a recipe that are going to really make the difference, as opposed to like just being overwhelmed by a recipe that would take like 4 or 5 hours traditionally. How can we make that happen in, less than an hour?
Absolutely. We're going to keep sharing our takes, keeping it modern and easy and healthy. And we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. It's been so much fun. Thank you, Bita June.
Yeah, thank you, Bita June. It's been a great ride, and I'm looking forward to the new year and putting out more and more episodes together. Hopefully all of us getting out of this pandemic healthy.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you all for joining and listening to us as we grow the podcast and being part of our journey together. So you've been listening to Modern Persian Food with Bita and Beata. Thanks for spending time with us. If you enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling your friends or giving us a good rating on iTunes. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app or find us online at modernpersianfood.com for recipes and info that we talked about today. Thanks so much. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and see you next time.